Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of Galatians. Such a wonderful book, tells us so much about the basis of our salvation in Jesus Christ, whom we found salvation through faith alone in his death and resurrection. Excuse me. This book also talks about the Christian walk. As usual, Paul details areas of Christology, the study of Christ, first, and then later the Christian walk. And right now we're in Galatians 4, where he's just covered the idea of the fact that before the Christ came, people were held under sin by the Jewish law, as much as a child is before of a nobleman or a king, before he gains the inheritance, becomes a real child. Just after Christ came and we accepted him by faith, we became a real child of God. Great promises for us, being adopted into his family. Paul then turns in our lesson today in chapter 4, verses 8, in a 12-verse section, re-expressing his care and concern for the Galatians, as much as he is trying to get them to change their mind away from following the law in their Christian life. He also provides love and a real genuine care for them. So it's not just about his teaching, it's about that they would really find the liberty and the freedom and the fruit of their Christian life based in their salvation by faith that they could have. So he says in verse 8 today, we'll cover 5 chapters or verses today, 5 chapters, that's a lot. 5 verses. Howbeit then, when you knew not God, and did service unto them which by nature are no gods. So he's talking about their pre-Christian life and served other gods, perhaps the Greek pantheon. The Galatians were from a barbaric background. Maybe they were pagan gods they still carried over. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure we know this. There were also mystery religions at this time as well. But the variety of religions in the Roman Empire, and he's hearkening back to those times before they believed. But now, verse 9, after you have known God, otherwise come to faith by faith in Jesus Christ, or rather known of God, indicating that God knows them, but perhaps because they are following legalism, still following the law and not living by faith, they don't really know God very well. How turn you again to the weak and beggarly elements whereupon you desire again to be in bondage? So again, the Christian life is freedom. We are not bound to legalistic measures set by men. In the epistles, the apostolic letters from Romans to Revelation 3, I repeat this over and over again, this is what we obey at the church. Our commands from God are really very few and very broad. We play on a field that is very wide, for which we can live by faith. And our liberty, is much greater than those that are in the world who are bound by society, bound by Satan, bound by their own lusts. We're all aware of narratives and woke and politically correct cultures, things that the social media influencers do, and the actresses and actors all do, that we feel like we must follow. People searching for answers and satisfaction in Eastern religion and pop culture that they never can find, spending money and time and following their rules. We are free from that because we have the truth. So Paul's hearkening to this and mentioning it, that they remain under these worldly rules where they should be free. Verse 10, you observe days, months, times, and years. Probably this indicates the Jewish law that they are following by the Judaizers who are trying to keep them at the law or with the law despite their salvation by grace. Verse 11, I'm afraid for you is probably a better translation here per Albert Barnes, lest I bestowed upon you labor in vain. Otherwise, have I spent so much time and effort to have you live like this? And then he says, brethren, I beseech you, be as I am, for I am as ye are. You have not injured me at all. Otherwise, he's urging them to be like him in the liberty, and to live by the Spirit, to live by the Word, and the freedom that they have, to live by faith, gratitude. And he goes, really, they're all the same. I am as you are. We're all the same. We're brothers. If I'm living like this, I'm the apostle. You should be too. We all should be one. Okay, good reminders today. We are Christians. We have great liberty, more liberty than is the world, as we begin our Christian journey by accepting Christ in faith alone. Yes, we should continue our Christian life in faith and not legalistic patterns, whether it be in the law, any denominational legalistic pattern in the church, world-based legalism. We are Christians and we have the truth. Thanks for joining me. We'll continue this section on Paul's concern over the Galatians next time. Please join me then.